In the fantastical place called Eternia, amidst battles and legendary heroes, stands one towering figure called Hordak, a being full of mystery and power. He is a crucial antagonist in the Masters of the Universe saga. Today's video forces us to dive deep into Hordak's anatomy, revealing a character far more complex than the typical villain archetype. From his ability to shapeshift into various weapons to his intricate relationship with characters like Skeletor and Evil-Lyn, Hordak's presence in the series is intriguing. His blend of dark magic and advanced technology paints a portrait of a character whose influence stretches across time and space, impacting the fate of Eternia and its inhabitants. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
It's impressive, Gryskull.
Who is Hordak? A vampire or an alien? Hordak, a beast from the depths of who knows where, living 1,000,000 years before our boy Adam. He is not your regular villain. We are talking cosmic level evil here. His story? Well, let's dive into it. First up is his looks. Hordak's not winning any beauty contests. Let's be real. He's this towering, menacing figure decked out in armor that screams bad news. His face is like if nightmares had a face. Now his origin. Born on Horde world, Hordak faces off against Zodak and his army. In a scenario where armies are clashing and there is chaos everywhere, we see Hordak laughing. Why? Because every fallen soldier makes him stronger. It's because he's siphoning their power, becoming this unstoppable force. So, vampire or alien? Hordak's a bit of both, really. He's got that otherworldly vibe, feeding on power and souls like a vampire, but his alien origins and cosmic ambitions set him apart. He's a mix of terror, power, and relentless ambition, a true master of the universe. He can turn his body into any type of weapon. This guy Hordak isn't just about the tech, he's a dark arts expert. Hordak's arm, it can be turned into an energy cannon. Need a tank? He can convert himself into one. And when he needs a jet, literally he turns into a rocket. It's some cooler version of a sci-fi movie. In one episode, his arm even becomes a vacuum cleaner. These transformations aren't just mechanical marvels, they've got this unnatural, magical glow, instant and freaky. We know him as almighty and powerful, but then after the King Gryskull incident, this changed a bit. Hordak's body got shattered. It was no biggie for him though. He got this wicked mechanical body in the Despondos dimension. Now he's like a transformer, morphing into weapons, vehicles, you name it. Above all, his powers are fueled by fear. His own troops are scared stiff of him. Is he a scientist or a sorcerer? To set the record straight, let me tell you, this guy, he's a cocktail of science and sorcery. In simpler words, it's mad scientist meets dark wizard. In the mini-comics, 1985 to 1987, Hordak is all about that sweet revenge on Skeletor, his former protege. But what is worth noting is Hordak's a sorcerer who took a hard left into science. He's mixing magic and tech like they're ingredients in a recipe to dominate Eternia. As per his plan, he built the central tower in the 3 towers of Eternia, so that years later he can stroll in there and bam, a buzzsaw pops out of his chest. That's how he uses his scientific know-how. Now, in the Filmation series, from 1985 to 1986, Hordak's the big bad in She-Ra, Princess of Power. He's chilling in Etheria, ruling from the Fright Zone. This time, it's tech over magic. He's a one-man arsenal, transforming into weapons left and right. So is Hordak a scientist or a sorcerer? He is both, and someone who is really into world domination. Hordak's got the brains, the magical brawn, and a knack for causing chaos. Hordak turns Keldor into Skeletor. If you're thinking about how in the world Hordak turned Keldor into Skeletor, the bone-faced baddie we love to hate, it's quite the stuff of legends. This is the kind of stuff that gives our comic world its spice. It's a tale of ambition, acid, and alchemy. So Keldor is on a mission to overthrow the rule of Eternia and take over, but things go sideways when Captain Randor, our future king, steps in. This calls for a clash of titans, swords clashing, and then a twist. Keldor whips out this wicked green serum, aiming to play dirty. But thanks to Randor, it backfires, literally burning off Keldor's face. Ouch! Keldor and his crew beat a hasty retreat. Eternia is safe, but it's like the calm before the storm. So here's the 411. Hordak is like the puppet master in this crazy transformation. As things go south, who does Keldor turn to? Hordak, that's who. It's like going to the teacher when your science experiment blows up in your face. In this case, quite literally. Hordak, ever the opportunist, is like, sure, I'll help, but it's gonna cost you. And Keldor, he's all in. He'd pay anything to save his skin or what's left of it. Hordak, with his sorcery and sci-fi flair, takes Keldor under his wing. Hordak, all mysterious and powerful, starts weaving his dark magic. Keldor's there, probably thinking, what did I get myself into? But Hordak's not just about casting a spell, he's crafting a legend. The transformation? It's wild. Keldor doesn't just get a new outfit and a cool name, he gets a whole new vibe. No more flesh, just a grinning skull. Think less charming rogue, more bone-chilling terror. After Hordak's spell, Skeletor is born. He's not just a villain, he's a work of magic. Is he more powerful than Skeletor? So the mini-comics and those Marvel Star comic books, they show Hordak as this mega powerful dark mage, full of dark spells and creepy incantations. But he is the whole sinister sorcerer package, and he's not just playing with magic, he's really good at it. We are talking at least as powerful as Skeletor, if not more. But here's the twist, and it's a big one. Despite all his magical prowess, Hordak doesn't always come out on top. Skeletor, that skull-faced schemer, seems to have his number. In the Filmation series, Skeletor's like the cat, and Hordak's the mouse. He's beating him, outsmarting him, you name it. And in the MYP cartoon, same deal. Skeletor set to knock Hordak off his dark throne again. And then in the classics canon, Skeletor doesn't just beat Hordak, he finishes him. End of story. So who's more powerful? On paper, Hordak's got all the dark magic chops to be the top dog. But when it comes down to the crunch, Skeletor's the one holding the victory flag. It's a classic tale of brains over brawn, cunning over raw power. Hordak's got the magic, but Skeletor's got the moves. Why does he need HeMans blood? Hordak was locked in a fierce battle with King Gryskull. It's epic, but it doesn't end well for this baddie. Hordak gets the axe, and his armies are banished to Despondos. But Hordak, he's not done yet. His hate's so strong, it keeps his spirit alive. Now he's a ghostly terror feeding on souls and fear across Despondos, especially in Etheria. To break free and get his physical self back, he needs HeMans blood. Why? It's like the ultimate key. So Hordak sends Triclops to nab He-Man and Adora. But Adora gets possessed and slashes He-Man's throat. She hands over the blood to Triclops, who then delivers it to Hordak. But wait for the twist as Adora snaps out of it, transforms into She-Ra, and saves her bro. Now with He-Man's blood, Hordak got his freedom. He's out of Despondos and back in Eternia. First stop, Castle Gryskull. He slices his wrist, unlocking a secret path to the fires of Gryskull. He then forges his own power sword. The universe shudders. Hordak's not just back, he's supercharged. The Eternity War kicks off, and Hordak's on the warpath. He's gunning for the eyes of Castle Gryskull. So, He-Man's blood, it's not just a creepy craving. It's Hordak's ticket to ultimate power, a chance to rewrite the rules of reality itself, and that's what he did. Is Hordak the father of Evil-Lyn? The next burning question of the day, is Hordak the father of Evil-Lyn? So, Hordak's past. It's like a puzzle missing half its pieces. But here's a freaky fact. He's connected to Evil-Lyn in a way that's straight out of a horror story. In one of the storylines where Evil-Lyn calls forth this gigantic bat, Horikoth, it's all part of a mystic plan. But then, to her surprise, The Bat snatches her up and whisks her away from Skeletor. Why? To save her skin. Fast forward, and EvilLyn's dumped in this desolate crater. She is all confused, and then the Bat transforms into Hordak amidst a cloud of red mist. EvilLyn understandably is like, "Who the heck are you?" And Hordak, he's all cool and cryptic, calling her an independent thinker, which, coming from him, is high praise. Then he drops the bombshell. He offers her a spot as his herald, but EvilLyn's not having any of that servant business. She's her own woman. She rejects the offer. Hordak, ever the smooth talker, calls her his equal, and then he calls her daughter. So is Hordak really EvilLyn's dad? Hordak's past is murky, and this revelation throws a whole new shade of dark on EvilLyn's story. It's a twist that makes you question everything you thought you knew about these characters. Father and daughter? Maybe. In a world of Eternia, anything's possible. How did Gryskull defeat Hordak? Strap in for a tale of heroics straight out of Eternia. We are diving into the legendary battle where Gryskull, HeMans ancestor, took on the menace that is Hordak. So Gryskull, our hero, loses his sword battling the Snake Man. He thinks it's a sign of peace, but nope, Hordak's lurking, ready to wreak havoc. Gryskull, sensing trouble, seeks more power to stop Hordak and bring peace to Eternia. Off he goes to consult the Oracle for guidance. The Oracle, wise and kind, lays out a quest for Gryskull. It's no walk in the park. First, he's got to pass the corridors of Lithos, then survive the dreaded Valley of Dragons. And if that's not enough, there's the Labyrinth of Thorns, a place that swallows heroes whole. His final destination, Mount Imperium. But to get there, he is crossing the sands of time. Gryskull, undeterred, reaches Mount Imperium. In a cave he finds the Oracle waiting for him. He is shocked to see Oracle there, as he had to take the long route to reach there, and Oracle was already there. But he was also surprised as Oracle returned his sword back. But there's a twist. Gryskull was curious to know, where's this power he was promised? Oracle drops a truth bomb. The power was in Gryskull all along. His courage against the dragon, wisdom in the labyrinth, kindness towards his companion across the sands, and strength to open the cave with his bare hands. That's real power. Armed with this revelation, Gryskull heads back. And guess who's ready to pounce? Hordak with his army of chaos. Gryskull charges in, a one-man army of valor. He plows through the ranks, sword blazing, until he faces Hordak himself. It's an epic clash. Hordak's unleashing his darkest magic, turning the skies black. But Gryskull, he's got something else, a golden light bursting from him and his sword. It's a sight to behold. His newfound power is like nothing Hordak's dark arts can withstand. The evil army defeated, buried deep along with Hordak. But victory comes at a cost. Gryskull, drained by the immense energy, loses his life, a hero's sacrifice. His legacy? He lives on in He-Man, his descendant. It's the story of inner strength, heroic journeys, and the ultimate sacrifice. In the battle between light and dark, it's the power within that counts. Gryskull, a true legend of Eternia. Marvelous verdict. Alright, so wrapping up this video, we learnt that Hordak is not your everyday bad guy. Nope, he's way more. His story is a mix of magic and tech. His fights with Gryskull and the whole He-Man's blood drama is another reason to keep us viewers intrigued. And let's not forget, he's not just about brute force. Nope, his head games with Skeletor and Evil-Lyn, that's the real deal. It's like he's the puppet master in Eternia. His power, it's not just in his muscles. He shakes up everything in Eternia. His story shows us that villains can be deep, really deep. Hordak, he's not just a character, he's a legend. In the comic world, he's a big deal, a real big deal. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.